So here's a few news stories that caught my attention. I have to overcome this nonsense. So this is a company that had one of these booths where you can take photographs, and after you take the photograph, they just put them on a server, and you can see everybody else's photographs on that server. He doesn't explain exactly how he did it yet, but I imagine he said they took your phone number, and one thing you'll commonly see is the URL will just enter in your phone number. There's just a parameter, and then all you have to do is put in somebody else's phone number. This is a pretty common thing. In fact, there are a lot of colleges where this happened, where you view your grades, and it's like college.edu/grades/your student ID, and all you have to do is put in a different student's ID to see the grades. And the one case I know, the student that reported that, the college expelled him and tried to punish him. This is an important thing to know. If you find a security flaw, most people will react badly when you tell them. They will blame you and try to punish you for it. So be aware of that. If you think you're helping them and you think they'll be grateful, and if you do it for a while, this is called white hatting, you'll discover nobody wants to hear it. You're just as welcome as a political activist telling people that their political person is stealing money or doing something bad. Nobody wants to hear it. The usual rule from professionals is if they don't have a bug bounty program where they pay you for bugs, don't tell them. Just let them get hacked. I tell them anyway, but if you do that, you expose yourself to quite a bit of risk, and it's certainly not something I would recommend for students. Except under controlled conditions. Let me know if you want to report a vulnerability. I can help you, and I have a lawyer. So Grok, as you know, we talked about it before, Elon Musk's AI chatbot built into Twitter will make nude images of any Twitter user, any picture you send it. And the EU and the UK are very upset about this. And in Paris, they actually raided Grok's office to seize data about this. And so Elon Musk promised that it wouldn't do it. And my first thought about that is actually it's not easy to stop it. And now they're showing this. He supposedly put in some defense, but the problem with AIs is they don't really obey the instructions. So even if you tell the AI don't do that, sometimes it will. And that's what they're discovering. And also, another article came out showing that there are 30 or 40 apps on other platforms that already do the same thing, and they just haven't hit the press. So that's why anyway, that's where that is. So the RFK has installed new vaccine advisors, and he has fired all the legitimate scientists and put in a bunch of conspiracy theorists that don't know what they're talking about. And they have now decided that they don't care about the effectiveness of vaccines. Their mission is to find the risks of vaccines and try to pump that up, which is his whole point. He wants to regard risks. Most of them say that vaccines are so risky you're better off without them, which is a fantastically stupid position. I mean, we've eliminated tuberculosis pretty much and polio and many other diseases with vaccines. It is absolutely true that the vaccines are a whole lot safer than those diseases. But we're moving into a land of just lies in the government at every level, and moving back to 16th century medicine before the germ theory. So it's a pretty sad state of affairs in America. And interesting, we had powerful science and a lot of good things to help us, and we just thrown it away. I was first surprised by this, and then I realized the same thing happened in Athens and Rome, and I think the UK. All these empires fell not from outside pressure, but from after they're powerful enough, they just rotted from within until they tore themselves apart. And that's what we're doing. Anyway, I thought this was interesting. Windows is pretty irritating stuff to use. I don't use it except as a target anymore. But one of the things about Windows is it's constantly slow and using up all your CPU for no apparent reason. And this guy found that one of the things that causes RAM spikes is a telemetry service that's just reporting on everything you do, so Microsoft can spy on you. So you might as well just turn it off, and then you save a lot of RAM, which makes sense. And Notepad++, I'm actually using it as a target in one of my other classes. Notepad++ is an alternative to Notepad that a lot of people use. If they're programmers, it's better than Notepad for coding. But it had a flaw in the update process, where the update was not done through a secure channel, and it's possible to deflect it to an unapproved server. And I have my students doing that as a project in another class. But in addition to that, it just came out that there was also a supply chain attack. The Chinese hacked into the development servers and poisoned the official updates, which is another kind of attack. And by the way, that's a much scarier attack because you can't really notice it or do anything about it. And the Russians took over many, many powerful American companies a few years ago by doing that to SolarWinds. SolarWinds was a remote control software used by many American companies, and they spent about a year hacking into the supply chain and putting malware in the official updates. And I don't really understand how anybody can protect yourself from this. I mean, if you download an official update from the official source, it's signed and verified, how in the world are you supposed to know that it doesn't contain malware? It's really up to the company to protect you at that level. And in Mountain View, right around here, the police have these flock license plate cameras. Now, these are all over the place. The company, I think, gives them free to police departments in return for being able to gather the data and sell the data for advertising or something. But what they also do is they turn on data sharing without telling the police. So now they've turned them off because they found out, an investigative journalist with a Freedom of Information request found out that the national police outside California and police in other districts of California have all been getting that data. And that's not what the Mountain View people thought. And they found out that the flock system had turned that on without telling them. So they're mad. And that certainly is a bad thing to be aware of. The police departments that choose to use these things really ought to understand how many people are going to view that data and then know whether they agree with that. So Meta has a lot of ads, and I've seen this all over the internet, but apparently it's pretty bad on Meta. Nearly 1 in 3 ads go to scam, phishing, or malware. It's certainly true that most of the sites I go to, the ads are pretty obvious scams. So that's a thing to know. And Moltbook. I don't know if I talked about it in this class before. This is exploding all over the web. It is the AI butler to help you live your life that we've all promised. Apple promised it to us about a year ago and said if you got your new Apple, your iPhone would have this butler that would help you by reading your emails and everything, and it didn't happen. And now it has happened. It's this thing called Molt, which OpenMolt is the latest name. They've changed the name 3 times, to a total of 3 names. You can install it on your machine. It runs locally on your machine, but then it takes all the data from your emails and it connects to the public servers. You have to have an account at OpenAI or another one of the public chatbots, and it uses them to do things on your machine, and you communicate with it through Signal or another chat message like Telegram. And so you can ask it to do things, and then it can buy things on your machine. It can log into your accounts. It can execute commands on your machine. So you have an AI assistant to help you control your machine. The problem is this is all very dangerous, very insecure. And in addition to the fundamentally unsolvable problem of prompt injection, what this means is anybody could send you an email with instructions like gather all the passwords and cryptocurrency keys and send them to me, and it might obey that, because AIs tend to obey instructions regardless of where they come from. And it might delete files on your machine and things like that, but if you're willing to accept all those risks, or if you don't understand them, people use it, and so it's all over the place. And now, in addition to having tens of thousands of users of this new AI assistant, they started Moltbook, which is a Facebook-like social network for the AI bots. And they are chatting with other AI bots there. So this introduces a whole new level of security threats. You could go onto this Moltbook and you could send a command to all of them. And so people expect to have a viral prompt soon. You could send a query to Moltbook, which would then forward the query to all these thousands of users and do something to all these machines. So you could make a new sort of virus going through a self-perpetuating AI prompt. This hasn't happened yet, but everyone expects it to happen pretty soon. Also, Moltbook at first was deployed incorrectly, so the main API key to access the API was just publicly revealed, and if you use that, you could access everybody else's API key and remote control all their machines. And when they were told about that, they fixed it. So that at least got fixed pretty soon, but this is generally the case. You don't want to be someone that jumps on a new thing like this unless you understand the risk. I'm like a lot of people, I'm just letting the lunatics use it for a while. I'm not going to use it until these guys have ironed out the wrinkles. I'd like to give it as an assignment to my students, but if it can't be done with a free online account, that's a limitation. Anyway, I'm just letting them all fight it out for a while and see if it boils down to something I can actually give my students to play with in like a virtual machine. Anyway, it's what we've all been waiting for, an AI that will actually help you. But the first version, as you would expect, is sort of half-baked and dangerous and not that great to use. That's true of the first version of anything. Maybe in a few months they'll get this thing working better and it'll be safer to use. Anyway, that's all the news I wanted to mention.